He was nicknamed Kid when he started at Hawthorn 30 years ago, and at 47, he's still Peter Pan. He is a Hawthorn immortal, a member of the Australian Football Hall of Fame, and a highly visible media figure. Love him or loathe him, he's Dermott Brereton and proud of it. Welcome, Dermott. Has someone bopped you on the way to the interview?
It sounds plausible, but no. I doing a bit of renovating at home, and I rolled over on the couch while having a sleep, and a spider bit me on the nose. It doesn't sound too realistic, but that's what happened.
Tell me the origin of the nickname.
It happened very early on. I was about, I think I might have been 16. Definitely no more than that. Played in a reserve. I had a reserve game. I hadn't played a game. And there was a bloke, Smithy, at half time. Yeah. That was his name, Smith. Ian Smith, I think it was. And Des Maher was the coach. And at half time he said, Smithy, get a kick or we're going to put on. And he pointed at me and went, that kid.
You always look happy to me. Are you? I mean, is it a facade or is that you?
I wake up every morning without any precedence and I smile. Just happy to be there. Get up, get into life, have a bit of fun and spread it around a bit.
But there was a period in your life when you must have been certainly unhappy and I would suspect confused. I mean, your father, Dermott, and your brother, Paul, both took their own lives at young ages. What sort of impact did that have on you?
Had a massive impact on me. My father, incredibly so. I know a lot of people say, why don't you coach? Why are you always late? And the likes. And the reality was I was so self-centred as a footballer. While I was playing, everything was football to me. My dad was getting sicker and sicker mentally.
In a psychological sense, yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't see it happening because I was just so into my own world. So when I retired, you have responsibilities in various areas of life, but I won't say shirked, but I've evaded serious responsibility since then.
Does that guilt sit on your shoulders still?
A little bit, in that regard, yeah. I don't want to take things too serious. It's pretty hard to wake up and see that, you know, hey, I could have done something about that. You know, that's, yeah, that hurts a bit.
Let's talk about your football. It was a great career, there's no doubt about that by any definition. But it prompts a few questions in review, I reckon. I mean, your best year was 1985. You won the best and fairest.
I had better years than that.
Well, you won the best and fairest. You won the goal kicking. You kicked 8 goals in the losing grand final, and you were all Australian. And you were 21 years of age.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember you having a better year than that.
Yeah, I reckon I did. 87, I reckon I played better. 88.
Did you?
89.
All of those years.
Yeah.
Yabby Jeans was your coach. He's an exalted figure in your mind, isn't he? In your life.
Yeah.
Tell us why. He was more than a coach to you, wasn't he?
Yeah. He, the best way I can explain it is, I've tried to do it before. I was 14 and somebody came, knocked on my door. We're going to train at Hawthorn. Dad said, no, not until he's 15. Might have put on a pound over that year. By 15, later in that year, I'm invited to play with the seniors. You're training Monday night, Tuesday night, a light run Wednesday and Thursday night. My dad working at nights. I'm listening to Alan Jeans more than I heard my own father. And John Lauritz, the CEO at the time, I'm hearing his views on life and the likes. And then everyone, when you look back at your life and you say, right, what was the period that really mattered? That's what you took in. Everyone that you listened to at that stage, they tend to, in your reflection, mean the most. So then from like 17, when I'm on the verge of seniors, through to when Yabby leaves, when I'm about 28, I heard him every day.
Did you cry when he died?
Yeah, I still struggle not to cry when I think about him.
So it was a special bond, you and Yabby.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good man.
Yeah. When your own father died in 1993, you were 28?
27 at that stage.
27. What was your relationship like with him?
I had a great relationship with him until the last few weeks.
What happened then?
He'd run into some trouble with the law. He had a dark past that had resurfaced.
Can you talk about that?
Family members probably don't really want me to, but I said something to him that, yeah, he never recovered from.
Really? How does that sit with you now?
And they were the last words I said to him.
Is that right? So you hadn't spoken to him for, what, a month before he died?
Yeah, about that.
And you don't want to share that exchange with your father?
No.
Okay. And your brother was living with you, wasn't he?
Yeah, he came and lived with me for a few weeks, and I'd seen the writing on reflection, knowing what had happened with my dad. Then to see what was happening with my brother, recognise some signs. I thought he loved life too much to do it, though. But obviously it got the better of him.
You reported 17 times during your career and suspended 9 times for a total of 39 games. Were you irresponsible, or was that just the Irish temper taking over?
Temper. Very combative.
Acceptable levels of temper or not?
No, sometimes no. Very combative, very protective over other players. You're talking, well, you've got to be honest. I felt I had a great sense of justice. And if I saw something go
You were the
unfair,
judge, though, of that justice.
Unfortunately, yes, and that's what society can't afford, people to take the judgment into their own hands. But on the footy field, I thought I did, and I probably shouldn't have. If I saw something which I thought was unfair, unjust, I'd act on it.
Did you
Very seldom were I the true instigator. Very seldom.
Okay. We'll get back to a couple of those incidents. While we're talking about your heritage and that Irish temper, was the story right that you sent money back to the IRA during your playing days?
I'm glad you've asked that. I didn't think you'd ask it, but I'm glad you've asked that, because no, I didn't. I am a prolific donator of money, and we're not talking thousands, we're talking 100 here, 100 there, to people who I believe, once again, that sense of justice. I've sent it to the retired English soldiers who served in Northern Ireland and come out of it disfigured, and they have their charity. I've sent money to them. What I did send to was a national Irish group who look after underprivileged national people. Now, somewhere along the line, that gets blurred into being a direct amount of money into Sinn Féin and then therefore into the hands of those.
So there was nothing from you directly to the IRA?
Never.
No, okay.
Never has, never will be.
Let's go to a couple of those on-field incidents we talked about before. One that we're particularly interested in, because you're now with Fox Footy, one of your colleagues, Danny Frawley. The clash with him, I got a feeling that ended a friendship when you and Frawley.
I liked Spud, and I like him again now. So it created some animosity for a few years. I was very good friends with Trevor Barker. He was having a testimonial night that night. Spud was an exceptionally good player. I knew that I had my game, I had a kick, a second gear. I was pretty pacey for my size. And Spud knew that too. And the amount of time Spud grabbed me. You do it, you don't do it, whatever. Back in those days, it was kind of an unwritten law that you could do it. And then it was kind of an unwritten law back in those days with 2 umpires only in vogue,